It is not a grateful task to talk about this topic after these really impressive and interesting talks, panels, and presentations, but I try to do my best to provide some more insights. So instead of it's working. So instead of reading these slides, I'm going to talk about the key takeaways, what I wanted to highlight or emphasize today, because in my opinion, no one knows, as the previous panelist mentioned, what's next or what's going next in the higher education as well. And I think there is really big problems on this topic, especially here in Hungary, where the economic and financial opportunities are not the same as in the US or other parts of the world in order to access the technology and availability of these tools. And this will be a really big problem, not just in higher education, but in the whole economy, in my opinion. Okay, just a few things what I wanted to talk about. So, in my opinion, there will be future, maybe in the near future, where a general knowledge space will be opened. I don't know when and how can we explore the content in it, but LLMs open the door to have, a general search engine where the universal knowledge of the humanity will be available. The question is that who will have an access to it? I guess it will be natural to search and look after some information in this domain space or knowledge space, but it will be not an equal opportunity for all. My colleague Peter Galambos already mentioned a few things about this, and I see the future in the same way. So from here, my main, it's not an answer, it's a question that how can we access to these materials in the future? This will be interesting and challenging, and maybe a hard thing. For the higher education, we need to be sure that that material, those study components are in the highest quality, or at least in high quality as we want. There are many legal challenges. It's a general thing that who owns that materials which are in the education, I mean used in the education or through the education. Accessibility, I already mentioned a few things or thoughts about this. And integrity, research integrity or education integrity. Translation education, which is, in my opinion, the most beneficial way of education, when we do some research and these research activities or even the developments are, applied in the daily education as fast as possible. This will be really interesting and challenging because the research generation of research results will be really fast in the future. There are another slide. Maybe not even this one. I wanted to talk about the AI scientist. It's a really cool tool. Maybe you heard about it. Maybe not. It's a 4 months long story when on the archive a group of scientists published the AI scientist project. It is a really interesting and amazing thing, and we look through on it quite quickly, access to the GitHub database and analyze the source codes. It turned out that it is not as advanced as they said, but even though there is a possibility to generate quite quickly from the hypothesis part to the scientific review of a given journal, this whole domain, this whole cycle can be made by this new AI engine. Of course, at some points, at some steps, it is also using the OpenAI 4.0 and other engines, but it is a really interesting thing that how can we generate content, research content in the future. In my opinion, there is a big gap between Europe and, for example, China and the US in this part at least. If we just take a look on the patent numbers of Chinese institutions and companies, I mean, comparing them to the US or the European Union's performance, there is a quite big gap between them. And there's an emerging trend started 3 years ago. So it's quite crazy, in my opinion. So generating research by using AI, it is a really hot topic. And research integrity and those things on the slides, how can we access to this domain knowledge? That's the most challenging thing for higher education, in my opinion. Of course, we can use LLMs to generate content for our lectures. We can use LLMs in order to evaluate the student performance and helping them in order to chatting or having a new learning experience. Maybe it is more comfortable for the new generation, but still there is a more fundamental question behind this scheme. Okay, actually all of my slides somehow are around this topic, so maybe I will skip a few in order to, save your time. I guess we will have a longer panel on this domain and we are going to talk about these things. GDPR is also a good question, and AI Act and those things already mentioned from the regulatory point of view. My personal opinion, we can do everything what we want, regardless these bureaucratic tools. The only thing is that we need to have even more bureaucracy and even more legal support in order to do the same thing as those countries and those frameworks who do not have these regulations or regulatory frameworks. The European Union is good in one thing, I mean in many things, but one thing, this regulatory framework development, a world leader actually, and many times, for example, US can steal some regulatory equipments from us, but it is not helpful for the development and in this race. Mentorship and automation. I do not think that mentors or tutors or lecturers will be gone because of AI. Instead, those automations can be elaborated even more quickly than which are in the system today. So evaluation of student tests, for example, these are running pilots at Oxford University. Having a digital tutor system, also running pilot at Oxford University in a smaller scale. These are not new in my opinion, and yes, it can help for the students. For example, we tried a new digital tutor engine at Oxford University, and there are two, experiences, because we are a technical university, not having a philosophy faculty or us. Instead, we teach informatics, mechanics, and sort of things. At the faculty, we try this technology in the education of four, but two really separate domains. Teaching in architecture, computer architecture, and teaching in math. It turned out really quickly that teaching with math, these equipments, even the ChatGPT, is not a good tool. Not a good idea to use it. Of course, if we extend the capability with the Wolfram Alpha engine and using the GPT as an interface to translate between the languages, Wolfram computing language and the natural language of the humans, then it can be a good tool. But teaching mathematics, for example, with a digital tutor, it's not a good idea. But teaching computer architectures, it's a quite good idea actually. Even the pictures and the the main ideas from the given pictures cannot be interpreted by an engine, but the text and those parts which are alongside with the taste of the given lecturer, and providing this tool for the student can significantly decrease the drop-off ratio from a given course. So it's a good idea to provide these tools, but the domains are really important, how to select between. Okay, future directions. Maybe the one of my how to say biggest fear is that these technologies make us even more lazy, or at least this is my opinion, of course. But it is a really hard thing to understand what is a deep knowledge in these days. There is a picture in my head sometimes when I can imagine that from every 100 persons, 10 will have this deep knowledge, and we should keep them in cages in order to prevent from all things, to make them safe, because they will know how the technology really works in order to set everything. But the remaining 90 people will have this how to say surface knowledge. They will able to work, use the technology, but do not have a deep knowledge. So it is a really hard thing, that how can we guarantee the deep knowledge in case of the students without make them hard times to use the technology. So it's really hard to figuring out, in my opinion. And another, it is not even a case study. Just getting back to the first thing what I highlighted, that accessibility. Maybe you heard about it, maybe not. Arizona State University does have an agreement with OpenAI that the university's e-learning system will be connected directly to the OpenAI engines and servers. I can imagine that none of the European universities, even Oxford or Cambridge, do have this opportunity. So when I see in the future, especially in Hungary, or in face of the Hungarian higher education institution, I have quite big doubts. How can we manage these challenges? And just conclusion, because this picture was quite, how to say, bad in terms of the future, but I see many potentials, many opportunities, but we need to keep on track that how can we become early adopters, at least, if we cannot lead the turn. And thank you for your attention.